Everybody has an idea, y'all. And if this idea doesn't go the way that we think it should go, the average person quits. The average person quits. And notice I said this is the case for the average person because quitting is an average action. Giving up is a mediocre mindset. Dropping out is reserved for the regular. Not trying again is nothing more than normal. But there's something special about someone who doesn't allow failure to become final. There's something peculiar about a person who is able to push past the initial problem to get to the eventual promise. There's something extraordinary when one is willing to not be downtrodden when they have trials, but decides to over and over again try regardless of the trial. You gotta ask yourself every day, are you acting average? Am I quitting when it doesn't go the way that I want it to go? Have I given up on an idea just because it has not come to pass yet? Do I get downtrodden just because I have a trial? Am I acting average? Am I a one and done kind of believer? I prayed once and it didn't happen, so I'm done. I'm not praying again. I asked once and it did not happen, so I'm not asking again. I came once and it did not work, so I'm not coming again. Am I a average kind of believer? Do I believe that it won't just because it hasn't? Do I believe that I can't just because I have not? Do I believe that it is what it is just because it ain't been nothing else yet? Somebody say, I ain't average. Yeah, come on, somebody say it like you mean it. I ain't average. Yeah, you only declare what you believe. I told you that last week. Somebody say, I ain't average. I'm not average. So I don't give up when things get hard. I don't buy into Quitter's Day. I don't back down when trials happen in my life because I'm not average. And that's why I need you to try again. Because the first one may not have worked. I know you got a reason why you don't want to try again. But God says you may have failed the first time. Things may not have worked the first time. The first time didn't go the way that you expected it to go. But God told me to tell you that even though the first one may not have been okay, after the second one, help is on the way. Because with God, there is something special, mama, about the second one. But God says a sequel with me is a success. A sequel with me is a success. And the reason that it's a success, the reason that we got to try again is not only because we're not average. Somebody say, I ain't average. Not only because we're not average, but we have an advantage of seeing what it looks like to try again in the Bible. God tried again too. That's the advantage that we have, is that we have a God who was willing to try again too. He didn't try again because he failed, Deanna. Yeah, he tried again because he failed. I'm in John chapter 1, y'all. Verse 16 through 18. Watch what the Bible says. It says, out of his fullness, we have all received grace in place of grace already given. God says, I already gave you grace. But to leave no doubt, I'm piling grace on top of that grace. I'm putting grace in place of that grace. I'm adding grace to the grace that I've already given. Because I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that you've got the grace that you need. Because of his overflow, you ain't allowed to underachieve. If you're going to try again, the first thing that you got to do is be like God and make a substitution. If you're going to try again, this time you got to make a substitution. Because whatever that happened on the first time that made you not want to try again, yeah, that needs to be subbed out. It needs to be moved out, and something else has to be moved in so that you can make sure that your next try is giving you what God says I'm going to give you after the second. You can try again because I replaced the old grace that you had with the new grace that you need. And maybe that's why some of us aren't trying again, is because we're operating in yesterday's grace instead of today's grace. God says today's grace is new grace, and you can't put new wine in old wineskins. Okay. In sports, if somebody, Alea, if one of your teammates is not playing good, and your coach needs to run a new play, or you want to get the victory on the court or on the field, the coach is going to make a substitution. Because he's not going to just allow the players to just be out there playing and not getting the victory. God says today, just like in sports, I need you to make a substitution, because what you've been doing, obviously it ain't been working. It ain't giving you the victory that you're looking for. But if you want to get the victory, all you got to do is change the scheme. Make a substitution, put something else in there, and watch what I do after the second. He says, this time when you try again, don't put it on you, put it on me. He says, put me into it. Sub me into it. And watch what I can do when you try again, but you try again with me. Because what he was trying to tell you is that I'm trying to move you from expired expectations to experiencing elevation. If you're going to try again, you got to make a substitution. Say it another way. If it had not been for the grace of God, I would have had to follow the law instead of the Lord. Laws can be tricky, but the Lord brings transformation. Laws can be too much, but the Lord is more than enough. Laws change depending on who's in office, but Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. If it had not been for the grace of God, I would have had to follow the law instead of the Lord. But because of the grace. The second thing, if you're going to try again, you got to avoid air pollution. Somebody say avoid it. Yeah, you got to avoid air pollution, because grace and truth came through Jesus Christ. The law came through who? Grace and truth came through who? All right, avoid air pollution, Mike, because the unmerited favor of God came through Jesus. Avoid air pollution, Sister Rhonda, because the basis of our salvation, justification, election, faith, and spiritual gifts came through Jesus Christ. Avoid air pollution, T, because through pity for sinful men, God sent his son Jesus to die on the cross for our sin. It came through Jesus Christ. Avoid air pollution, Blair, because grace and truth is the respect of God. Truth is the execution of his purpose. Truth is the respect for our responsibility in his will. Avoid air pollution, Deanna, because it came. Somebody say it came. It came through Jesus Christ. As opposed to the superstitions of the people of that day, as opposed to the inventions of people of that day, as opposed to the opinions of people of that day, the truth and the grace came. Somebody say it came. You gotta avoid air pollution, mama. And I know y'all probably not understanding what I'm saying when I say avoid air pollution, because you thought that I was saying A-I-R, air. I'm saying H-E-I-R, air. Yeah. You got to avoid air pollution. Do you not know that you are an air? You are a joint heir. Because of Christ, as children of God, you are an heir of God, which means you got access to everything that he has. You got access to everything that you need. And sometimes if you're going to try again, you got to avoid air pollution. Anything that's in your way that's stopping you from trying again. Any person that's in your way that's stopping you from trying again. Anything that's telling you that you can't have what God says. You got to tell them, I am an heir of God. I got to avoid air pollution. Yeah, some people are built to mess you up. Yeah, some people are built to get in your business. Some people are built to hold you back. And you got to avoid the people who are trying to stop you from being the king's kid that you are. You got to try again. That means that drama doesn't walk into your life. Either you create it, you invite it, or you associate with it. Yeah, I heard that quote the other day. I had to give it to you because it was good to me. It don't walk into your life. Either you created it, either you invited it, or either you associate with it. And in this season of our life, if you're going to try again, I need you to avoid that. I don't have time for people who don't believe in me. I don't have time for people who won't push me. If you're going to bring me down but not bring me up, you might be an air pollution. If you don't mean me no good, I got to avoid you because you are air pollution. If you try to steal my joy, my peace, my happiness, I need to avoid you because you are air pollution. If they have superstitions, they're air pollution. If they have man-made inventions, they're air pollution. If they don't believe in the God that you serve, they are air pollution. If they won't help you when you are down, they are air pollution. If they're getting on your nerves, they are air pollution. If they don't tell you that you can make it, they are air. You have to avoid air pollution. I'm trying to help you try again, y'all, because if they don't recognize your value, they ain't helping you get the victory. So that means their air pollution. Grace and truth came through Jesus Christ. Do you know what the word came means? Do y'all know what it means? Okay. The word came means it happened to me. The word came means it happened to me. So the text actually says grace and truth happened to me through Jesus Christ. That's why I'm an heir. That's why I can avoid those air pollutions, because I didn't even deserve this. It just happened to me. I didn't even ask for this. It just happened to me. Don't be jealous of what God is doing, because favor ain't fair. I did not ask for what God is doing in my life. It just happened to me. And that's somebody's testimony. That's going to be your testimony this year, because you ain't going to know how it happened. It just happened to me. It just came to me. God just blessed me. God just opened a door. It just happened to me. God says, I need you to try again, because what I'm about to do in your life, it's going to just happen to me. If I try again, I got to make a substitution. I can't do what I was doing before. Yeah. God says, sub me. Yeah. Okay? If I'm going to try again, I got to avoid air pollution. I got to get away from the people who don't mean me no good, who ain't going to help me try. I want to try, but if I'm surrounded by people who don't want to try, I ain't going to try. I got to avoid air pollution. But then I got to take his contribution. The reason we can try again is because we ain't doing it on our own. We're doing it based on what he contributed to us. The only way we know God is to know Jesus. The only way we access God is to access Jesus. The only way we see God is to see Jesus. Because we can't see God on our own. But we got to access the one who can. The only one who can, the only one who's able, the only one who will. You want to know why I sing the way I sing? It's because I'm trying to see something. I pray the way I pray is because I'm trying to see something. I can't see God on my own, but I can see him through Jesus Christ. So I got to lift up the one who gives me access to see the one who I'm after. I'm doing it because I'm trying to see something. You want to know why I serve the way I serve? Because I'm trying to see something. You want to know why I keep going to church? Because I'm trying to see something. You want to know why I fast and I pray? Because I'm trying to see something. You want to know why we came to church this morning when it's cold outside? It's because we're trying to see something. Why you pull up to a house and have church? Because I'm trying to see something. I'm trying to see what God can do in this season. I'm trying to see where God is able to keep us from falling. I'm doing it because I'm trying to see something. I'm taking his contribution. His contribution is the ability for us to see. No one has ever seen God. But the closer you get to Jesus, the closer you get to seeing. That's why I'm trying again. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. That's why I'm not worried about what people say about this season, because I'm trying to see something. And I know what God showed us. And he told us that the first one may not have gone the way you wanted it to go, but after the second one, help is on the way. So I'm going to stand up here and sweat in my living room as if I'm standing in a stadium, knowing that I'm trying to see something. I'm going to preach, I'm going to teach, I'm going to serve, I'm going to love, I'm going to give grace, because I'm trying to see something. I don't know about you, but the reason that we got to wake up every day and try again. Listen, you tried to forgive them one time. It didn't work. Try again. Why are you trying again, Nigel? Because you're trying to see something. Yeah. You tried to help them that first time, and they didn't want your help. Yeah. Try again. Why? You trying to see something. Yeah. God says today, in this season of your life, I don't need you to stop at the first time. I need you to try again. Because you're trying again, knowing that you're going to see something in the end.